What's up, Paladins, and welcome to a Marvel Rivals Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you all about Thor and how I like to use this particular character. Thor is a Vanguard type character with a base health of 525 and a difficulty rating of 3 out of 5 stars. Now, before we get too far into this, the first thing we need to understand is how to use Thor, and the very first thing we need to understand is his passive ability called Thor Force. Now, on the screen, you will see kind of a little bit below dead center, you will see 3 little hammers or 3 little Mjolnirs. Now, that is your Thor Force. So you get a maximum total of 3. The recovery speed after you use an ability that uses a Thor Force is 5 seconds per Thor Force. Now, and also every time you use an ability, you will get some bonus health. So this is again kind of the bread and butter of Thor and understanding this passive ability. So every time you use an ability that uses 1 Thor Force, you'll get a 100 bonus health, and while the abilities that also consume 3 points of Thor Force will get you 200 bonus health on top of that. So also keep in mind that every time you use your basic ability, which is Mjolnir's Bash, you also get a recovery to your Thor Force on top of that. So do keep that in mind as well. So you definitely want to keep using your basic ability on top of everything else. So going right into it, his basic ability, as you already know, is called Mjolnir's Bash. The damage is 45 seconds and the range is 4 meters. So you kind of have to be right on top of everybody. I mean, you're whacking everybody with a hammer. So you have to be right there on top of everybody. Going right into it, we're going to go right into his ultimate, and that is called God of Thunder. So now the damage on this is a little interesting, so bear with me here. So while charging the ultimate, you create a sustained spell field that deals 40 damage for every 0.5 seconds, followed by a one-time spell field that deals 220 damage. So the duration on this is 1.5 seconds, and the range on this is a sustained spell field that is a cylindrical measuring 8 meters in radius and 20 meters in height. So this is good for, especially if you have a lot of flying characters as Iron Man, Storm, maybe even Star-Lord here and there. And now even Human Torch, you can also grab them within this ultimate if they are not careful. So, whereas the one-time spell field has an 8-meter spherical radius. Going into his next ability, which is called Storm Surge. So now this is a charge dash. So the maximum charge on this is 2 seconds. So for the distance that you will travel, so if you just barely charge it, 3/4 of the way charge it, halfway charge it, anything that is not a full charge, you will always do 10 meters. Now, if you do a full charge, you'll go 20 meters. Now, this is different if you are carrying an enemy. So if you do this and grab somebody with this particular ability, that changes from 6 meters if you don't fully charge it down to 13 meters if you do. So with this ability, this also costs you 1 Thor Force. So as we learned earlier, this will grant you 100 bonus health while using this ability. His next ability, which is kind of going into his bread and butter that I like to say, which is Lightning Realm. So this is a persistent spell field type ability that deals 40 damage when enemies cross the boundary. So anytime that they walk into it, they will get hit with 40 damage instantly. So the cooldown on this is 12 seconds. The range is a 5-meter spherical radius, and the maximum charge time on this is 4 seconds. Now, something to keep in mind with this ability that a lot of people kind of don't realize, and I see a lot of Thors just kind of pop this willy-nilly. So one of the things that you want to keep in mind with this is that anytime that you kind of use your Storm Surge to kind of get into the battle, anytime that there's somebody like right on top of you, as in maybe another tank, Maybe there's some greedy DPS out there like a Wolverine or anybody like that. If you instantly pop your lightning realm whenever somebody's right on top of you, that will instantly give you back 1 point of Thor force per the enemy that's in lightning realm. On top of that, enemies are slowed by 30%. So that is a big deal, especially for a lot of those characters that like a lot of the dive characters that just want to get in, cause some chaos, and get out of there. If you can slow them down by at least 30%, I mean, that's going to be, for some characters, that's a make or break. So definitely keep that in mind and kind of use this as I want to get in there, do some damage, slow people down, especially the supports. This is great. Going into his next ability, which again is part of kind of his bread and butter, which is called Awakening Rune. So Awakening Rune is an enhancement ability. The projectile damage on this is 70 and the spell field damage is 30 per second. The maximum shield duration is 2.5 seconds. Now this ability does cost 3 of your Thor force, and as we know, that will give you 200 bonus health, part of the passive ability. The duration on this is 5 seconds, range is a 3-meter spherical radius, and the projectile speed is a 60 millisecond projectile speed. So, kind of the thing that you want to do with this is that you want to use your Storm Surge, get in there, and as soon as you're in there, go ahead, pop your Lightning Realm, and then whenever you're in there, you get your Thor Force back, and then instantly just go right into your Awakening Ruin. That's going to be kind of like your bread and butter combo with Thor. Now, there's a lot of other different things that you can do as well, and finally going into his other and his last ability that he has, which is simply his Hammer Throw. This will cost him one Thor force, and you just throw your hammer. Now, the cool thing about this is that, so the hammer going out and then coming back, and if somebody is in that line, that whenever you throw your hammer will get hit twice. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, a lot of the top tier players, if you wish to follow them, will really tell you never to use this ability. The cool thing about this ability, while you're using your basic attack, you can kind of throw that out there and get that extra hit in real quick, and that will kind of melt a lot of good tanks and other DPS that are just not aware of it. But since a lot of Thor players really hardly ever use this ability, a lot of people just kind of get right up in his face and, and they're not expecting that extra hit. So, with all that being said, we'll go ahead into his team-up abilities. So, his first team-up ability, which is called Odinson Reborn. So when Hela lands a final hit defeating an enemy, she can instantly resurrect Loki and Thor in the respawn phase, or grant them bonus health if they are still alive. So the respawn health percentage is 80%, so you don't come back full health, but you do have a good percentage of health whenever you do come back. If you are alive, whenever she does kill somebody, you will give 50 extra health on top of what you already have. That does stack with your Thor Force passive ability, so if she kills somebody and you use an ability, that's going to be 150 or 250 health, depending on the ability that you use. And of course, if she does get a kill like that. And then the respawn delay is only 1.5 seconds. So it's pretty daggone quick, especially if you have a decent Hela on your team that can hit her shots. That is a deadly combo. Now his last passive ability, or his last team-up ability, if you will, which is called Thunderous Deity. So Thor infuses Thor Force into Storm and Captain America, granting him an electrifying enhancement. With this enhancement, Storm can unleash a lightning barrage, and Captain America gains a movement boost, and his shield is immune with thunder power, electrocuting enemies nearby. So the team-up bonus also gains 100 max health. So instead of 100 or 525, he would have 625. So that's kind of a good thing for Thor. Going into this, Thor is a very interesting tank, if you will. I would consider Thor to be more of a brawler than anything like that, because Thor is not necessarily a dive character. I mean, his biggest thing that he has is, you know, his storm surge, which allows him to get in and get out um, relatively quickly. I mean, it's also a good way to harass other other players, other tanks or DPS or anything like that. So a lot of times, what you really want to do with Thor is you kind of want to not necessarily focus the back line, but you just kind of want to get in their face. And you want to push them back, and while you're pushing them back, kind of be aware of what your team's doing. Uh, if you know you have, you know, a Hela or anybody like that, or like a Spider-Man or a Panther or anybody like that, you kind of push them back into your back line. They can go in, clean up the kills that you're affecting them with, and everything like that. As I said, Thor is kind of a go in, do some damage, keep that sustained damage up, and especially if your healers are decent, they can kind of keep you up in the process of you know, doing everything that you need to do. And as I said earlier, his bread and butter combo that you would want to do is Storm Surge to get in, Lightning Realm on top of that to get that Thor Force back, and then you kind of instantly want to go into your Awakening Ruin. That is basically your bread and butter at that point. Throw in a hammer throw here and there just to deal that extra damage. Kind of throw the enemy off, and you're just not going to sit there and spam your just basic attack. He does have a melee attack that you can throw in there as well, just to kind of, again, just throw him off a little bit. But that's really about it. So I would say then kind of playing your ultimate ability around that. Again, you're not trying to get kills with Thor. You're mainly just trying to keep doing your damage and harassing the DPS as well as the healers in this. That would be your ultimate goal here. In this particular video, I was more harassing the Penny than anything, making sure I destroyed her spiders, so where she wouldn't get that extra health and the in that region that she would get on top of that. So that is something that I was doing here in this particular video, while trying to focus on a little bit of their support. So kind of, you know, each match is definitely different, but that would be the basics of Thor and how I recommend how to use him. So if there's any other strategies out there that maybe you have used with Thor that I did not mention in this particular video, please definitely leave a comment down below. The more help we can get out there, the more better that we can see some better Thors out there in Marvel Rivals. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.